So hiking is a place where I've always found a lot of peace. I just really enjoy getting out in nature. It's a great place for me to, at times, to unwind, to really get outside my own head, to think about something else. And I thought today, not only with the topic of this little video I wanted to put out there, but also just with the fact that I like to hike. This is my hiking day if I can get it, and it's a pretty nice day out, so let's go ahead and combine these two. And I thought I'd make a little vlog. I tend to have a day open during the week where I purposefully leave some time for myself to get out, do a little hiking, something of that nature. It's a nice way for me to decompress. You know, I coach, roughly 6 ex-Jehovah's Witnesses every day in my coaching practice. And, there's a lot of stuff that comes up, a lot of heavy stuff. And so it's important for me to be able to get out and take care of myself as well, which includes a nice hike at times. So I thought I'd include you on this hike. And actually the title of this video, as we go along, the title of this video is Hike Your Own Hike. In the backpacking community, I'm more just a hiker, not really a backpacker, but in the backpacking community, there is a term, a phrase that is commonly used, hike your own hike. So let's think about what that means. What it really means is that, when you're out on the trail, you're doing your thing. Hiking is a very physically strenuous activity, especially backpacking, when you've got everything that you need to live on your back. And because of that, while you may go out alone on a trail or with some friends, you need to really pay attention to yourself. You don't want to get out and try to hike somebody else's hike. In fact, sometimes people who go hiking or backpacking solo will create a tramily or a trail family. What that just means is that as they're going along throughout their hike, perhaps they're picking up some other people who are hiking by themselves, and then people end up forming these little communities based on that. But while that may be all well and good, when you are hiking and trying to keep up with other people with the heavy backpack on, they may be in different shape than you. You may think you're in good shape, and then you may get out there and realize that you're not at all, at least not in comparison with these other people. And if you don't hike your own hike and you allow yourself to give in to the pressure to hike what other people are hiking, you may find yourself hurt. There are a lot of people that start backpacking trails that don't finish because they get hurt, because they get worn down. Got some birds here making a lot of racket. They get worn down and they end up not being able to do the thing that they set out to do. And, I really was thinking about this along the lines of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and who we tend to be. We grew up in a cult that very much promoted comparison of ourselves to others. This other family wouldn't watch this movie, so why do you? What's wrong with you? Or this other brother or sister in the congregation wouldn't dress a certain way, so what's wrong with you? Or somebody else got more time out in field service than you, so what's wrong with you? But we were never really allowed to be ourselves, and everything was in comparison with somebody else. Whether it was a real human being or a fictitious, a character in the Bible and the story that was told about them. So, when it comes down to comparison, it really doesn't help, does it? Do we ever compare ourselves to people who are doing worse than us, or do we always only compare ourselves to people who are doing better? A lot of people, we leave Jehovah's Witnesses and we think, we look around the people at the world around us and we feel stunted. And look, for sure, to some degree we are. I'm not going to discount that. But let's also not act like everybody in this world who wasn't raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses lives some sort of charmed life or some sort of mentally healthy life. A lot of people are really struggling. And it's funny, we never compare ourselves to them, right? We don't compare ourselves to the people whose life is an abject train wreck and that anyone would see and say, hey, I don't want to live like that person. Instead, what we do is we find people who we think are doing better than us. We have no idea. We don't know what goes on in anybody's houses. We should have learned that by now from Jehovah's Witnesses. We thought brother so-and-so was perfectly clean and his family was great. And then we find out later that there are really awful things going on at that house. So, it's really a lesson for us to not compare ourselves to others. I hear a lot of times, or I run into people in my coaching practice, maybe their kids woke up at a young age and, they just feel stupid because, why not me? My kids woke up. Why did it take me so many years to wake up? We grew up in different eras. We grew up in different times. We have different base psychology. We have so many differences. We are not all the same. And maybe you, as that parent, actually made it safe for your own kid to leave a cult. Maybe there was something a little different about the way that you parented, and you should be proud of that instead of saying, well, I feel bad because I didn't leave as early as my child. And it's just, none of this comparison ever leads us anywhere but into dark places. Again, why don't we ever compare ourselves to feel good? Why do we only compare ourselves to feel bad? So just a little thing I wanted to talk about today while I was on this hike, something that's come up a few times lately in my coaching practice, and something that I think is really just healthy for anybody. Hike your own hike. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. They don't have the same body composition as you. They don't, just like you might think, well, of course, hike your own hike. That means that, when I can't keep up with others. But you know what? There's somebody out there who couldn't keep up with you either, if you're being honest. We're all just different, and we have different skills and talents and abilities, and we're just different individual human beings. So, maybe we should just really keep our eyes on our own paper, so to speak, worry about ourselves, not comparing ourselves to others. And, if we can't even compare ourselves to ourselves, because what you did, I'm on a hike right now. If I compare myself with 20-year-old Mike, I'm 45 today. 45-year-old Mike can't cut it on the trail like 20-year-old Mike could, right? So it's not even fair really to compare ourselves to ourselves. Maybe what we ought to do instead is be present, do the best we can today, keep trying to work and grow. It doesn't mean that we have to stay stagnant and can't do anything else. But, maybe we could just appreciate where we are, even at times, how far we've come. There's a concept called the gap. And in this concept, what you're looking at, most people start here and they have some sort of ideal up here that they're comparing themselves to. That's where they want to get, right? So on day one, we start down here and we work and we work and we work and we get to here. And if all we do is focus on the distance between where we are today and the ideal, which is the gap, then we're never going to end up getting what it is that we want, because we're going to get discouraged. We're not going to be able to do what it is that we think we want to do, and we're going to give up. But if we compare ourselves from where we started to where we are today, then maybe we'll actually be encouraged and feel good about how far we've come instead of worrying about how far we've got to go, because it really just does get in our head. And it's so, again, comparing ourselves in any way really doesn't help. We are where we are today. Let's work with that and move on. So in the comments, maybe comment about where you struggle in comparing yourself to other people. Where is it, what's on your mind when you're always getting on yourself or getting down on yourself and saying, well, this person is this or that or the other, and look at me, right? And I bet that if you were all honest and you posted in the comments what it is that you have a problem comparing yourselves about, you find out you're not alone there either, because it's just a human thing to do. It's also something that was absolutely reinforced by the cult, but it's something that's in the end not healthy. It doesn't help us at all. And so, maybe if you're going to post about or comment below about what it is that you compare yourself in a negative way against, I don't know, is there anything that you actually feel positive about? Anything good? because I bet those are a whole lot harder to come by than the negative things. So just notice we all have a negative bias. The cult made it all worse because there's nothing that they can't make worse. And so learn to appreciate and have gratitude for what you bring to the table, because that matters too.